T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You look like someone who just watched a half of Matt Patricia coach an offense.
I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna
Hey,
lose my mind.
You want to come watch my Broncos try and put an offense together?
I don't know what's worse.
No, the Broncos is worse because our quarterback is $250 million.
Okay, well, that's true.
And our first round pick is the second overall right now, and we don't have it. So, yeah, my situation's a lot worse.
Okay,
I don't want to hear it. I really don't want to hear it. At least I know my coach is getting fired.
It's not Bill. Well, it might be Bill because he freaking hired Patricia, but yeah, I'm gonna lose my mind. Okay. All right. Well, welcome back, everyone. I'm just having my existential crisis because I have to watch yet another Matt Patricia offense. Welcome back, week 14. So, going to be kind of doing what we've continued to do, look at some trends, what we see going forward. This may be our final episode. Kind of looking at schedules, especially with fantasy playoffs. At this point, everything's, for the most part, cut and dry, or, start sit stuff is a little bit not really a Monday night call. So we'll see, but this is either the last one or the second last one. We will let you know. If it is the last one, we'll still have something to put out for you next Monday, though. I think we're making a plan. So with that said, we're going to start it off. I'll take it away with Michael Carter and Zonovan Knight. So you saw Michael Carter come back after being injured and immediately see 51% of the snaps. So, right, automatically coming in back to that lead role. Zonovan Knight was at 47%. So it was a pretty much an even split, but right, Carter did see the most. From Adam Levitan, so yeah, 35 snaps for Knight, 15 routes run and 19 opportunities, and Michael Carter, 37 snaps, 28 routes, 11 opportunities. So even though Carter did see more of the snap share, overall it was a pretty even, if not Zonovan Knight saw a little bit more of the actual work. Moving forward, it's a little hard to see how it shakes out. But going back to last year, I even looked, Michael Carter was around between 50 and 60% of the snap share as it was. So that seems where he was yesterday. He's probably going to maybe fluctuate a point or two, but not too much after that. So I still like both moving forward. They obviously cap each other's upside a bit, but I still like both. And then, so they have the Lions, the Jacksonville, and Seattle for the next 3 games. So some okay matchups. And then obviously Seattle's a really great matchup in week 17. So you do love to see that. But even against Detroit and Jacksonville, both games, I think I'd be comfortable starting both guys.
Yeah, Lions games are just shootouts. So there's a strong touchdown potential with that. And yeah, the Seahawks are your dream matchup.
Yeah.
I have Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine. So Perine weirdly got a lot of red zone work now that Mixon's back. Within the red zone, Perine had more snaps. He had 5 snaps to Mixon's 3. They had equal number of rushes. They both had a rush. But Perine ran 4 routes to Mixon's 1, and Perine had 2 targets and 1 reception. Mixon had no targets or any receptions. I think there's a fair amount of noise to this because 2 of Perine's snaps, 2 of his routes, and his reception all came on 3rd down. And we know he's Cincinnati's 3rd down back. Mm-hmm. It is a little scary that Perine still has this much, but like I'm not too worried because the 3rd down stuff just makes sense, and I don't think it's a reason to panic. But it's at least a little bit like it's a little uncomfortable feeling in your gut.
Yeah, and so I noticed this purely because I have Mixon and Scott Fishbowl, so I've been trying to get into round 4 of the playoffs, and I think I'll be good. But the point was, like, I'd be watching the game and something big would happen, and I'd be like, all right, good, 3rd down catch, and like, oh, it's Perine, or like Perine in the red zone. I think it's a mix of, right, Mixon just coming back after 2 weeks, probably want to ease him in a little bit, but then also, frankly, Perine played really good in Mixon's absence, and he's shown that he should be on the field. So I'm also, like you said, not worried, not concerned, but like you just have to realize that Mixon isn't going to be the lion's share in the backfield at this point, because it seems like Perine has played himself into a legit role.
And also, it doesn't matter because the next 3 weeks of matchups are just hell. So good luck with that if you have Joe Mixon.
Yeah, not ideal, but it is what it is. It was a fun run. That's what I'm telling myself. All right, so next up, Baker Mayfield. So we in the Rams. So we talked about the Rams offense last week, but we talked about them with corpses at quarterback, and Baker Mayfield is at least alive. So with a little bit new round of it. So Van Jefferson, Ben Skowronek continued to run the most routes for the Rams. Ideally, so I like to talk about the Rams too, because I'd like to get Brian to say that last name. Unfortunately, I drew the short straw on this one. So they're running the most routes. Tutu Atwell saw a target on 36% of the routes run, which is the most on the team. Honestly, it does feel like this offense is going to be super frustrating to try and figure out like what's going on, especially with McVay, right? McVay is very good at scheming particular guys and random guys open at different points and trying to get certain guys the ball at different moments. So you can't really rely on, right? It's not a Stafford Cup thing anymore where it's just going to be a funnel offense. Skowronek might be a decent flex option. Van Jefferson, I don't mind. Higbee, right, is so up in the air. You never really know week to week, right? Like nothing to 5 to nothing. Like it's.
I think Higbee's dead. I'll be honest. I would not be starting Higbee with any confidence.
Yeah. So it's tough, and then right, Baker still, but he does get the extra week now to learn the offense, so that helps. And even then, looking at the schedule looking forward, they get Green Bay, so not bad for Akers. Denver, so you're not coming close to anyone. And then
that game is going to be horrible. Can we talk about how horrible the Rams Denver game is going to be?
That's next Monday night, right?
Did they flex it? I think they flexed it out.
I don't think they flexed Monday.
God, I hope that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's going to be worse than this game. So at least I have that to look forward to. And then the Chargers. So the next 3 weeks, you probably actually don't want any of these guys anyways. Akers is probably the only person you're looking at in this offense at this point.
Yeah, those are not great pass offense or pass defenses to be going up against.
No.
So I have everyone's favorite team, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jagging off, baby.
No. Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Engram, these guys are just I love them all so much. Ingram's 39.2 PPR fantasy points was the 7th most by a tight end over the last 3 seasons and second highest this season. He was just, man, they were just throwing it. If they saw man coverage, I think I tweeted this. They had man coverage 9 times, so only a few times against the Jags, and Engram just feasted. He had like five targets, 4 receptions, like 70 yards and 2 touchdowns.
This was career. We were waiting for this game his entire career.
Yeah. Tennessee was like, yo, Trevor Lawrence, you're terrible at zone coverage. And Lawrence, I think Lawrence is not getting enough credit for how good he's gone against all the zone coverage he's had to play this season. Because was it Indianapolis like week 5 that just broke him?
Yes.
With cover 2.
Yeah.
And teams saw that, and he's been having to fight through it and is doing really well. But in zone coverage, he had 2 favorite guys. He passed it 32 passes against zone coverage. 19 of them went to Evan Engram or Zay Jones.
Yes,
so Zay Jones might be the new wide receiver 1 in this offense. He has, since week 12, he has over a 30% target share versus man coverage and over a 30% target share in zone coverage. So we used to see those big splits between man and zone with Trevor Lawrence, but we're not seeing that with Zay Jones. He's getting targeted with both. The weird thing is that Kirk has taken a back seat in this offense. Still, 21% target share is not necessarily a back seat, but it's not what he was. Beginning of the season, he looked like he was going to be like a low-end wide receiver 1 for the entire season.
Yeah.
And Zay Jones has stolen that from him. So, like, prior to week 1, Kirk had nearly a 25% target share, and Zay Jones had 19%. So Zay Jones has seen a 10% higher than 10% increase in target share over the last few weeks.
Love to see it.
This offense does have horrific matchups the next few weeks, but I think it's hard to find a cheaper option that's seeing a 30% target share than Zay Jones. He might even, I didn't check ownership percentages, but it was just like 2 weeks. He just had like a 30% ownership on ESPN.
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
Zay Jones.
While you're doing that, one last thing.
60% on ESPN.
Okay, good. But still, 40% of people, I guess some people are out of the playoffs. But I wouldn't be too afraid putting him in as a flex. I think he has a lot of upside. And the weird thing, too, just to add, like I mentioned earlier, is that Engram dominated man coverage looks this week. That really used to be Kirk's bread and butter. So I think you have to knock down Christian Kirk a little bit because the Jags will be seeing a lot of man coverage in the next 2 weeks. It'll be interesting to see if Engram keeps on getting those looks. So the two teams they play, who is it? They play the Jets.
They play Dallas, the Jets, and then Houston.
Yeah. Dallas and the Jets both ranked top 10 in percent of man coverage run. So it might be Engram week again, depending on, but also if Kirk gets the looks, like it's sad because Kirk just got both his man coverage domination and his just overall wide receiver one coverage. Like both two players stole that title from him. But if you listen to if people listened to you a few weeks ago, like Zay Jones might have carried a few people to the playoffs. Yeah,
he's definitely been helping me. And don't mind me, I'm dying in the background. Yeah, and honestly, the Dallas matchup, I don't mind with that offense being as good as it is. Jacksonville probably is going to have to score a little bit. I hate the Jets matchup because that defense is legit, and then Tennessee is Tennessee, so dumb stuff happens against them. So yeah, even with the not ideal 3-game playoff matchup runs, I don't hate it for Zay Jones. And like you said, with the work that he's been getting at this point, he's a nice flex option, especially if you're in any sort of deeper league where you're starting 2 or 3 flexes or 2 or 3 wide receivers. Definitely like him in there. Next up, talking about Tampa Bay and just their offense as a whole for the fantasy playoffs. It's been rough. I mean, their O-line is just atrocious. They can't protect Tom, and right, for as good as he is, like mobile inside the pocket, right, he can't extend plays right with his feet, like most quarterbacks can now. That's not his game. So the O-line is terrible. He doesn't trust his own line, which is a big issue. And right, they have spurts of good offense, but they can't keep anything consistently together. So they have Cincinnati, the Cardinals, and the Panthers for the end of the season. And not great. I mean, Cincinnati, right, is kind of a good defense. They're fine, middle of the pack, but their second half defense is great. The Cardinals defense is awful, but the Patriots can't do anything against them, so that tells you the state of the Patriots. And the Panthers are actually they're like a sneaky good defense as well. So
I don't think what Panthers team are going to get every week.
That's a big issue. Yeah. So, basically all of their matchups, whether it's Tom, the running backs, wide receivers, the tight ends, range from bad to meh. And then a couple of like the really good ones where, Rashad White, week 17 against the Panthers rush defense, right, should crush. Otten against the Cardinals next week, right? Any tight end against the Cardinals should be good. Though I did say last week, right, don't trust any Patriots tight end because you can't trust Matt Patricia. So far, kind of working out. So, at this point, if you made it this far, it's tough because you can't just rely on like draft capital or anything like that for your players. But Mike Evans, Godwin, they're still kind of must plays for me. I like Rashad White more than the Leonard Fournette at this point. It's really those 3 guys I think are the only ones I'd be comfortable playing. I wouldn't really want to be starting Brady. Kate Otten against Cardinals maybe, but other than that, I really think it's just Evans, Godwin, and Fournette, and that's about it. Or sorry, White, not Fournette.
Yeah, sorry, I've been distracted by the Manning brothers wearing giant hats this entire time.
Oh, fantastic. I don't know. Is there anyone else? Julio Jones, or do you like Leonard Fournette still? Or
if he's healthy, I don't know. I think it's just
Yeah.
going to be a split back, and I don't know. He is getting like a decent number of receptions, so he has a
Yeah.
nice floor. But yeah, Godwin obviously he's getting the volume, but he's obviously doesn't have his step back coming back from injury yet. So yeah, so next I have Jerick McKinnon and Pacheco. What's Pacheco's first name?
Isaiah.
Isaiah Pacheco. There we go. So McKinnon went off this week. He outsnapped Pacheco 39-28. He had that insane pass or catch from Mahomes where you can't even do that. Like that's not legal.
They're so good. He's so
they're
good.
just so good. I think this is a lot of noise though. Again, I think this goes back to the very similar to the Perine thing. The Broncos defense is good. They are very good. And so they did actually push the Chiefs to a lot of third downs. And McKinnon outsnapped Pacheco 11-1 on third down. Like McKinnon is the third down back.
Yeah.
So he did see a lot of production on third down. So they saw a similar snap share on first and second down, but Pacheco continues to just control the backfield rush attempts. So I think it was a little bit of feeding the hot hand. And if feeding McKinnon with a hot hand is seeing equal number of first and second down snaps, then that says a lot of good things about Isaiah Pacheco. It was a difficult defensive matchup. If anyone's down on Pacheco, I don't think you should be. I think he should easily just rebound easily, and I don't think Jerick McKinnon's going to have this type of production every week.
No, it's tough. I mean, we saw this, was it last year in the playoffs, right? McKinnon just takes off at this time. So who knows? Yeah. I think I like both. Like you said, I'm not scared away of Pacheco, but I would definitely, it might be a McKinnon takeover for the end of the year. We'll see. All right, so some quick hits here. This is kind of a short, quick show. Not too much at this point of the season. Dameon Pierce, I got this one wrong. I sat him in a few leagues that I have him because I just hated the Dallas matchup. I thought it was going to be a terrible negative game script. I got it wrong. 22 rushes for 78 yards and a touchdown. Then now he has Kansas City, Tennessee, and Jacksonville to end the season. So Tennessee or Kansas City, okay, whatever type of matchup. But again, great game script in theory should be bad. The Tennessee matchup, Tennessee is good against the run. Don't like that matchup. And Jacksonville is okay. So I think at this point he is moved back into a guy that you just kind of have to start. Though I'd be looking elsewhere against that in that Tennessee matchup because that would not be a good play. But against Kansas City, I think you got to play him. And then if you get all the way to your championship game, Jacksonville, you're definitely playing him.
Yeah.
Next up, Donovan Peoples-Jones went 8 for 114 on 12 targets yesterday. So, right, massive game for him. That actually pretty much was his previous 3 games prior combined. So I think it's a possible good sign for this year, but realistically, it's more of a good sign for Dynasty. They were down 20-3 in the third quarter. So, right, Cleveland had to play catch up. Forced the pass, and that really worked out in his favor. But their next 3 games against Baltimore, New Orleans, and Washington, none of those really project as like major negative game scripts, where then they'll probably continue to rely a little bit more on Chubb, Hunt, right, as Watson gets better. Obviously, right, Peoples-Jones looks like a better play, but I wouldn't go crazy over your skis over yesterday. I think that was more of a game script thing than an actual, sign of things to come for the rest of the year. Jamal Williams continues just to completely outwork DeAndre Swift, 16 carries to 6 in favor of Williams. Swift does get the passing game work, but Swift dropped all the way back down to a 36% snap share I saw, back down from 50 from the week before. Am I crazy, Brian? I still don't think Swift is a must start.
I think he is. I think he is. The upside is just ridiculous, especially for playoffs. You need that upside.
That's fair. You're basically banking on a tight end. I don't love it, but I see the point. I see the upside for sure. Especially in that offense because they are a crazy scoring offense.
Yeah.
And then I guess if talking about like if you're in a really deep league, deep flex where maybe you're starting 2 running backs, 3 wide receiver, and then also 2 or 3 flex plays, Richie James for the Giants.
Yeah.
He seems to be trading off work for Slayton. It's not exciting by any means, but at this point of the year, if you're in like a 2 or 3, if you're in like a 3 flex league, that third flex slot is typically a hellhole to begin with. He's someone that, he could get you 2 points, but he could also get you 13, 14. Not ideal, but he has Washington, Minnesota, and Indy. I think he's a desperation deep flex, but nothing more than that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I 100% agree with that, but yeah, like it all depends. I saw Daniel Bellinger went out with an injury.
Yeah.
If Daniel Bellinger's back, I think Daniel Bellinger might be the number 2 in that offense.
I agree with Belly. I like him a lot. But even Richie, he's I think the week before last, I think 2 weeks ago, he also, what did he do? His last few games, 348-1, 541-1, 327-61-1. So he's been 40 yards. Obviously, you can't bank on a touchdown, but 3 for 40s, 7 points. It's not great, but again, this is like a pure crazy
do
deep
worse.
league flex. Yes, you could definitely do worse. So with that said, he's actually doing well today. Our boy Robbie Anderson actually has a couple first down catches.
No, and a
Good for
one-handed
him.
catch. Yeah, man.
Yeah, we love
Proud
to
of
see our
him.
guy actually be good. Oh, look at they stalled out in the red zone. What a shocker. What a shocker. I hate this offense. All right. Sorry, everybody. Here we go. Our Robbie Anderson of the Week award goes to Zach Taylor for having T. Higgins on the injury report and then taking him off before the game, the day before, 2 days before, only for him to play like the first snap and then say, "Ooh, my hammy's done. I can't play anymore." Thanks, Taylor, for everyone that started T. Higgins in your lineup because he was off the injury report. Sweet.
Yeah, that was rough. And then he didn't even play in the second half, so all the second half unders I did on him didn't even count. So, yeah, that sucked.
That was a real kick in the boys. All right, Brian, you know the deal.
Greenland sharks are the longest living vertebrate, and there have been Greenland sharks that are found that are older than America.
For a second, I thought you meant the continent. I'm like, well, that doesn't add up, but the country.
No, the United States. They're older than 1776.
That's pretty cool. Some of those like tortoises can live forever too. That's wild.
Yeah. Oh, we can. That's next week's animal fact. I'll say that.
Oh, love that. All right, everybody.
Oh, do we go for 2 today?
Yeah, go for 2.
Tortoises float. So how do you think they got to like the Galapagos and stuff? So like literally a tortoise had to just like float. At least that's a theory. That's a theory. So
they can't swim, or you just mean like on the ocean they like.
Some tortoises float. Okay, let me be clear with that. Some don't go out and testing this with tortoises. I've seen someone throw a gopher tortoise in Florida into the water thinking it was a turtle, and I about died. So that thing just got thrown to its death. But some tortoises do float, and so that's how giant tortoises got to all those islands. So yeah.
Pretty cool. Well, hey, the more you know. All right, everybody. Like I said, we may be back next week live. If not, we'll have still something put together for you. We'll find out. Have a great day. Peace.
Adios.